Hello everyone and welcome back to Hitting the Field. Well, baseball is back, but we're not actually going to talk about that quite yet. Instead, we're going to have a great show talking about the Masters. Yeah, that's right, golf. I've never heard it talked about on HTFN during my time with the program, so this should be interesting, but in the best way. After that, we'll be talking about the NBA as we get ready to head into the playoffs on Saturday. I'm your host, Hannah Jo Groves. Today is April 11th, 2022, and Hitting the Field starts right now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. The rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
5, 4, 3,
2. And we're back. After some pretty cold and windy weather up in Augusta, Georgia, Scottie Scheffler was the winner of the 2022 Masters Tournament. Another big headline during the tournament was some guy named Tiger Woods making a complete return to professional golf after what some might have thought was a career-ending injury. I'm here now to talk about everything with what went down in the Masters with Grant Wheeler and Doug Smethurst. Boys, how are we feeling today? What did we enjoy about the Masters?
Oh, I'm feeling great. This was a great tournament because you actually got to see some skill with the tough course conditions that came into play.
Totally. Yeah, it wasn't just a regular no-win day.
It wasn't a beautiful day. Everything's just going the way of the golfers. They actually had to work for it.
Completely. Grant, how are you feeling today? What do you think of the whole
Feeling
thing?
really good, and I'm very happy for Scottie Scheffler because he's a very young player coming out of the PGA about 4 years ago, and he's had some recent success over the years, and so it wasn't really surprising that he was able to get the green jacket.
Yeah, he was pretty dominant, especially over the last 2 days. Before we talk about that, though, what I'd like to talk about with you guys is just kind of our favorite guys to watch during this year's Masters. Doug, I want to start with you. So we already talked about him. Tiger, he's your favorite.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. I'll let you take the floor.
Well, we all know about his injury from back in February. He had that terrible car accident. We didn't know if he would even start playing in this Masters tournament, but he went out, practiced. He felt good enough to play. So then, yeah, it was his first competitive round since 2020 Masters, and his first round he goes 1 under. You're thinking, all right, like we may see the prime Tiger. And then second round he shoots +1. He's +1 after 2 days. You're thinking he's still in the thick of things. He's right there. And unfortunately, Saturday and Sunday he just lost it. +6 both days.
Yeah.
Finished +13.
Well, but that's okay because like what you said before, it's honestly just amazing that he's even here. I mean, a year ago he was watching the tournament from a hospital bed and thinking that maybe he wouldn't be able to make it again. I mean, parts of his foot and leg bone were on the floor of the car when they recovered the vehicle from the crash. So to think that he's even able to play golf at all, that his leg isn't amputated, is actually just incredible. And I actually learned a really interesting fact. I don't know if you guys know this. Apparently, the Augusta course is the second most difficult course to walk because it is so hilly. So not only does he have to play golf, apparently the only flat is actually the T-zone. That's it.
That's it, yeah.
Besides that, you're walking over hills, and apparently there's some that's so
Even the fairway is kind of
difficult.
bumpy.
Right,
Yeah.
that they have to take vans and things like that. So not only is he playing golf, he's walking on this terrain, and like you said, Grant, earlier, he's icing as much as possible. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Tiger Woods has been icing like his legs every single day. He actually uses his golf clubs as canes to walk around because the pain is so bad. I expect nothing less from Tiger Woods. The guy is so persistent. He went 11 years without a major championship. 3 years ago, came back and won the Masters in 2019. And now he's back after a horrific car accident, again, which he could have died in back in February of 21. And the fact that he's back still playing is honestly unbelievable to see.
I think we saw a different guy. I mean, I have never seen Tiger Woods laugh in an interview or kind of look jovial with people or even look out into the crowd.
I think the accident kind of changed his mindset on certain
Absolutely.
things.
I think he kind of has a new appreciation for being able to be there. And yeah, just his interaction with fans was really interesting to me. He's always so focused. I mean, we've seen him have his different personality feats, but him being able to interact with fans, realize the gravity of the moment and be grateful for it, I think, honestly, he's better for it. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. And we saw it in his acceptance speech. He showed a ton of humility. He addressed everything off the course
Yeah,
issues,
yeah.
like with his DUIs, all that. He addressed it, and he was really humble about everything. And that's all we wanted to see from Tiger, is just be humble, the humility, just be yourself.
Totally.
And then we finally saw that, and I still think he's doing that. He's just being himself, too.
He's one of the most persistent athletes of all time. Really is.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to admire it. But let's move on from someone who unfortunately didn't do so well and has showed us his personality, someone who has been described as vanilla, but the winner of this tournament and Grant's favorite. Tell us about him.
Scottie Scheffler, yes. So he's only 4 years into the PGA. He's had some recent success. In 2020, he shot a 12 under 59 at the Northern Trust. So again, it wasn't really surprising that he had the amount of success that he had this past weekend. And again, just him putting on that green jacket for the first time, it was definitely something to see.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, so his career has just gone from 0 to 100 within the past 2 months. He was declared best in the world in March.
On March 27th, yeah.
And in February, he didn't have a title to his name yet.
Nope, did not.
So I gotta respect a 25-year-old man who just really just made a name for himself, proved himself. And I think, I mean, you guys both know this, but golf is a super mental game.
Oh, it's all mental.
So
mentally
his
hard-
even-keeled attitude, his ability to not, like you said, Doug, let the conditions affect him, but keep his mental state strong, tough, I think that's what ultimately made him win out above everybody else.
Probably the most mentally challenging sport out there.
For sure. And I mean, and actually, this is kind of funny. We were talking about this in my class the other day, comparing baseball to golf. And golf, you don't get to go to the dugout after you strike out. You just got to keep going. If you make a bad shot, you got to walk to the next.
It's the kind of sport where you can't dwell on the past. So you just have to keep thinking forward, moving forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment that you thought that McIlroy or Smith was going to take it?
On Sunday, McIlroy was making a move towards the end.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for McIlroy's sake, though, he started off too slow to catch up to Scheffler. Like in the early rounds, if McIlroy had shot better, he could have caught him.
But how impressive to come up from behind like that.
Oh my God, he was +1 entering in the last day. He tied the record for lowest final score in Masters history, shooting 8 under par. That is unreal.
Yeah. Talk about mental toughness coming up from behind like you're
He
jazzed.
he was like 20th, and all of a sudden he's second place, making $1.6 million.
Well, tell us about his
what?
18th hole.
Oh my God! If you guys didn't get to see this, McIlroy and Morikawa both hit the bunker on 18. They're going for birdie shots from the bunker. McIlroy goes first, nails it.
Nails it.
And then Morikawa answers him with his own bunker shot. They both birdie on the 18th hole to end their days. Both of those shots are unbelievable. I was going crazy when I saw them. I love both of those shots.
And it's one thing to do that without bunkers, but you're doing that in a bunker, because the level of the surface level is uneven, so you have to really adjust and think about how your swing's gonna.
Absolutely.
Oh, bunker shots are just difficult. The fact that they were doing it for birdie as well.
I love how
can't talk about
jazzed
it
you're
enough.
getting. I love this enthusiasm.
love it.
Well, I was pretty enthusiastic about this guy named Cameron Smith. And I don't know if it's his long locks or his Australian accent or what was going on. He's a 28-year-old. He tied for third in this tournament. He made it to the final round with Scottie Scheffler. He was right there. He cut his lead down to just one shot, but unfortunately the 12th hole is kind of where it all fell apart for him. But in the past, he's won the Century Tournament of Champions and the Players' Championship. He's also been in the top 10 for 4 out of the last 5 Masters. So there's this title out there called Best Player Without a Major. And I'm wondering if Cameron Smith kind of took that title. What do you think about that, Doug?
I think he's definitely up there. you can definitely put him in that conversation for best golfer without
A title. Yeah.
Because
A major, yeah.
I mean, look what he did. He was even, I believe it was like -5 after day one. He was the clear leader. Before the next couple of days, he kind of didn't play his best golf and fell down in the standings a little bit. But yeah, he's a great golfer. He's gonna win one soon.
That's the thing with these like golf tournaments. Like it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like
Oh,
if you're
totally.
the first 2 days, if you're like shooting 6 under par, that can change in an instant on day 3. You could shoot yourself out of. You can actually shoot yourself out of a tournament even when you're like 6 under or like off to a hot start like that. So yeah.
And that's where that mental toughness comes in, of having the endurance to make it through and having the perseverance to maybe if you didn't shoot so well, come back for it. And you know what? I'm going to wrap it right around. I think Tiger Woods showed us that he does still have that mental endurance. With his
absolutely.
attitude and his temperament in his post-game interviews and interacting with the media, I really do see a side of him that I really like.
Again, him coming back a year later playing in the biggest tournament in golf, the Super Bowl of golf, the Masters, in itself, is just, again, that just goes to show how tough he is.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the last of any of our 3 guys.
Oh,
No,
no.
Tiger's going to play until he physically cannot play.
I think you're right.
Like Tiger just literally made his 22nd straight cut at the Masters. Every time he's been invited to the Masters, he's made the cut.
Yeah.
Like, then the
Tiger
fact that he
Woods.
toughed it out this entire weekend and like didn't withdraw at all. You could see it in his facial expressions when he's walking.
Yep.
You know he wasn't feeling 100%.
Right.
So the fact that he stuck it out through the whole weekend was
Right.
remarkable.
Well, and we didn't even talk about 5 back surgeries that he's had. And he's described in the past how playing in under 50-degree weather has irritated that. And that's the whole weekend that he just did. So, you know, X out everything we talked about with his leg and all of that.
He's faced so many challenges throughout his entire career.
Yes, and he
he's
keeps
overcome
going.
every single
Character
one.
arc is ridiculous on this man, and I'm really excited to see more from him. He's 46 years old.
Turns
He's
47
getting
this
there,
year.
A
Right,
25-year-old just won the Masters. Cameron Smith is 28. So we've got a nice range here. Isn't golf is the sport that you can play no matter
Golf's
what
a
age
sport
you
you can play until like you
you're,
again
like,
until
in
you
a
physically
wheelchair.
can't. Yeah.
are? Well, great. I can't wait to see the rest of this. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have to talk golf. I can't believe I talked about golf. Anyway, when we come back, we'll be talking NBA with Gadiel, Cartagena, and Camden, Mowery. Stay with us.
Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
All right, Jeff, don't tell me your winner, but who is going to the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots
Oh my gosh. Oh my
God.
gosh.
and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
God.
The
Oh
NFL
my
is gonna
God.
the NFL is gonna make it happen.
Welcome back. The NBA season, surprisingly to me, has kind of flown by. I don't know if everyone thinks that, but that's how it feels to me. Playoffs start on Saturday, and the Lakers and Russell Westbrook aren't in it, but Ben Simmons might be. Good news for us is we've got some great guests to talk about it with Camden Mowery and Gadiel Cartagena. Camden, how are you feeling today?
Oh, you want to start with me? I'm confused. Why'd you start with the Russell
Okay, never
Westbrook
mind.
Lakers?
Gadiel, how are you doing?
I'm very happy. I'm somewhat distraught at the fact that we have to talk about the Lakers again, that their season finally ended. We can just get good riddance to this team, but I guess we'll give them about 3 minutes of our time. So,
Okay, so you started with the Russell Westbrook Lakers? Like, what do you mean the Russell Westbrook Lakers? Do you even know who LeBron James is? That is the man himself.
Well, he's out for the season, my guy.
Okay, that's true. Well, he could have won the
Their
scoring
whole
title.
team is out for the season
Anywho,
now.
yeah, the Lakers, they're not very good. I'm sorry, Cliff. It didn't work out.
So, well, my first question to you guys here, we thought that this was going to be a big three, AD, LeBron, and Russ. Does Anthony Davis even stay with the Lakers at this point, do you think? He thinks he's going to.
He stays on the ground, hurt, all game, every game. Every game I watch, he's just on the ground, out my ankle. I mean, I my love for Anthony Davis, whoop, right down.
Did you ever have love for him?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when he was in college and on the pros, and I was like, oh, he coming to the Lakers, let's go. But he's just been like a glass cannon. I mean, he's I don't know, he's just always injured.
To answer your question, should Anthony Davis stay with the Lakers? I'm going to say no.
Okay.
And that's not on Anthony Davis's part. He probably wants to stay in LA. Probably nice to play for LA. But they won a championship with this build, and there's no reason for them to try to do another one. They're not going to win another one. Let it go.
Well, so that's the thing.
Blow it up.
AD and LeBron have proven that they can win a championship,
Absolutely.
and then Russ comes in. So, did you expect Russ to completely just be awful, or were you surprised by this?
Right, that year that he had like 6 years ago on the Thunder when he was really good, when
with
he was
Harden.
the star of the team.
Yep.
He was great, right? He won the MVP, all that stuff, but it just did not work from the start, right? He was throwing bricks off the side of the backboard, like it was ugly. They put the Lakers on so much for TV, I think for entertainment purposes. I mean, watching them throw shots off like I've never seen Russell Westbrook shoot this bad before. It's awful.
What do you think about Russ?
I think Russ gets a lot of hate. I like the guy. I think obviously we saw a lot of his flaws this year. I think what the Lakers did is they put him in a position where he's not really used to being an off-ball player. He's good with the ball in his hands. He's not going to win you a championship with the ball in his hands, but he can run up a lot of numbers. So they took the ball out of his hands. They asked him to be someone who he's not been his entire career.
Right.
The reason he's going to be a Hall of Famer, they took that away from him. So I think Russ obviously needed to play better.
Yeah.
I think the Lakers should have managed the situation better. It was just a bad fit all around, and I'm excited to see them both part ways.
Well, and you're talking about his identity as a basketball player, changing what he's been doing. What I forget is that he's 34 years old. I mean, he's figured out how he's going to play. Like, he is figured out as what he's going to do and what he's good at, and it's kind of hard to teach an old dog new tricks at this point. So if he's going to, have to shift roles all the time, that's not where he's going to excel, and that's what they need to face. Okay, well, let's move on then. Let's start with the news that came out actually yesterday about Ben Simmons. He hasn't played since last June. He's finally apparently pain-free after this super long, and I'm putting this in quotes, back injury. Now, from what I've heard, people are apparently really thinking that this could be another huge weapon for the Nets, but I'm not super convinced of that. Gadiel, I want to start with you. What was your reaction to this news? How do you feel about all the expectations that come with it?
I think we've been hearing a lot about Ben Simmons. I'm not going to believe it until I see it first and foremost. I need to see him on the court. I need to see him look the way that he does. And if you're coming off of a year-long back injury, I would imagine you're not going to move the same way. And they need him to move like a defensive player of the year in order for him to make an impact. Because if not, he's not going to do anything on offense. He's just going to pass the ball, and he's going to get fouled, and he's going to miss free throw shots, which is eventually going to hurt the Nets' offense. So I'll believe it when I see it. I think the Nets are a fine team without him. I don't really think, if he really isn't ready, they shouldn't rush him back.
Right.
And if he is, then it can make a difference. I think it'll be something that as they progress throughout the playoffs, if they keep winning rounds, then he could actually start to make an impact.
Yeah, well, we were talking about mental toughness earlier in the show. I don't think Ben Simmons has the mental toughness right now.
I think it's disrespectful you put them in the same sentence.
I'm so sorry. But they're talking about even if he does come back, they'll only probably play him 10 to 15 minutes. Camden, what's your reaction to that?
Honestly, again, I'll believe it when I see it. It's just, you can't think that he's going to play even though he hasn't played all year. Like, the Sixers are winning this trade as we speak, right? But the Nets, they're still a dangerous team, all right? KD's still putting up 30 on a nightly basis, and Kyrie Irving, I mean, he's allowed to play in home games now. I am scared of the Nets. And as for Ben Simmons, I don't think it matters if he plays or not. It helps, but I don't think it's what's going to win him a championship.
All right, well, let's talk about the playoffs now. Gadiel, I'm going to give the decision to you. Do you want to start in the East or the West?
Let's go West.
West. All right, so we each picked 3 teams, our favorite, a sleeper team, and a team that we think might disappoint. So, Camden.
I get the start.
Go ahead. Tell us your favorite. Let's start off on a positive note.
All right, this is all very what if. This is if Steph Curry comes back, and as of yesterday, there will be an update today, April 11th, about his health for the playoffs. Hopefully he is able to come back, and if he is, I've got the Warriors coming out of the West. That is a tough conference to try to get out of. I know, y'all are out here with your Grizzlies and your Suns. Just pick the 1 and 2 seed, why don't you? What do you want me to do, agree with you? We're on the show to argue. That's why you had me on, because I will argue with you.
And we will, because
will.
they've got a lot of bad habits that they've got to break. They have trouble finishing. I see them possibly blowing leads because they can't, they'll start off strong and then a team will be able to come back. And I do think that they need to clean up their shots. They need to not turn over the ball. And if Steph's not there, are they capable? Like the Grizzlies are without Ja. We learned that. What Gadiel, add to me.
No, listen, you're spitting right now. Honestly, this is exactly what Camden needs to hear. Because I know it's all sunshine and rainbows and Steph Curry's going to come back and this, that, and the other. It's all fun and games until Andrew Wiggins has the ball to close the game for you in the fourth quarter. Listen, the Warriors are a really good team. They've had a really good season, and their prize is they get to go against arguably the best player in the NBA, Nikola Jokic, and his Denver Nuggets in round 1. So it's not going to be all smooth sailing. I think they'll have a tougher series in round 1, and then you play against Memphis round 2.
Let me butt in here for you. If you're going to say Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league, why are they the 6th seed then? Why aren't they better than the 6th seed?
Because he's the only good player on the team.
Oh, so you're telling me if there's only one good player on a team that they have to be the 6th seed? What about LeBron James? What about how many years he carried the Cavs to the 1, 2, 3 seed, Gadiel? What do you think about that, huh?
Let me check my LeBron James is in the 11th seed. 16 games under 500.
Hey, go back to those years when he was on Cleveland, when he was leading those teams. All right, Jokic, the best player in the league, that's a stretch. All right, MVP does not mean best player anymore, and we all know that.
I said could be the best player.
Well, since you're making the transition, I'm actually going to tell you guys who my disappointment team is, and it is the Denver Nuggets. And I hate to say it because my family is from Colorado. And listen, Nikola, he's obviously the best. He's in the MVP conversation. Let me read these stats for you really quickly.
Go ahead.
Okay. Ready? 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 500 assists in a single season. And the reason he plays like that is because his team sucks.
That's great. That was a bunch of numbers right there.
If he gets hurt, they're done.
That's the case with any team and their superstar, right?
No, not the Grizzlies.
I would love to see the Grizzlies make it to the finals without Ja.
Yeah, why don't you answer me this? How have the Grizzlies done in the last 5 games? 1-4. All right, how is that going to help them out?
Ja's back. Hey, they prove that they're together. They can communicate. That's my favorite.
They're just young. They're young.
We're really going all over the place. I'm so sorry, production. My favorite team is Memphis Grizzlies. I think Ja Morant is electric. I think they've done a great job covering for him when he's not there. I think they're going to do great. And I don't know if they're going to win, but listen, they're my favorite team because I like them the most.
Yeah, my favorite team's Cleveland. I ain't picking them.
You need to stop talking. Gadiel, tell us your favorite team. Yours is the most logical out of all of us.
The 64-win Phoenix Suns. They've been the best team in the NBA for the entire season. They are phenomenal with or without Chris Paul. Devin Booker's proven he's a superstar. DeAndre Ayton's proven he's worth the max. Monty Williams proving he's one of the best coaches in the NBA.
And
they have the recipe. They're on this revenge tour similar to the 2014 Spurs. They're the best team in the NBA. If they don't win the entire NBA Finals, I will be surprised. They're a great team.
They're the first team since your Golden State Warriors there to be most efficient in defense and offense.
Wow. What year did they do that in? No answer? Okay. I'm pretty sure that's the year they lost to Cleveland in the finals. But anywho, what does that translate to? Like, okay, I like the Suns too. All right, I like the Suns too. I'll say that.
Okay, so you don't have any kind of rebuttal for that. I mean, they
are
head and
I like
shoulders.
the Suns. I like the Suns. All right, they are a good team.
You just think it's an obvious pick.
I don't want to take a 1 or a 2 seed, even though the numbers don't lie that they'll probably be there. I want to go with a different team, and that's the Warriors.
So you're just trying to be different.
Yes, I am different.
Okay. You heard it here first. All right, Camden, tell us your sleeper team. And actually, you and I have the same one.
We do?
We do.
Wait, in the East or the West? The West?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes,
West, LA Clippers. I think that with Paul George, I think they're going to lead this team out of that 7th seed, and I like that matchup against the Grizzlies. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, okay, so Kevin Durant was praising their roster for having so many strong wings, and that's kind of where the league is going now, being able to guard every single position in a strong way, and I think that's ultimately what's kind of led them to even make the playoffs. I know that they're not seeded great, but they could make their way up. They also have a lot of good veteran players, and you can't rule out experience here. Gadiel, do you believe in the Clippers like us?
I believe in the Clippers to make it out of the play-in. I don't believe in them to win a playoff series, but I agree. I think they are sleepers. Like Paul George, he can take over a series. You saw that last year. He almost beat the Suns.
Right.
They were DeAndre Ayton lob away from being up 2-0 against the Suns. They got 2 wins in that series. Yeah, I like the Clippers. I think they're a good sleeper team.
All right.
Wait.
We agree.
I'm
agree.
remembering something. Who was the team that beat the Suns twice? The record is 2-1 against them. I think it's the Grizzlies.
Okay.
I think it's the Grizzlies.
Was that with or without Chris Paul? That I don't know. All right, with Chris Paul back,
Actually, I don't
like
know
him.
that either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, well, actually, we're running out of time here. We didn't even get to go to the East, but give me your finals predictions really quickly, you two.
Gadiel, go ahead.
Suns, Bucks. Suns get their retribution. Suns in 6. Devin Booker wins Finals MVP, and we are talking about him as one of the greats of this up-and-coming
I
generation.
mean, they deserve it, don't they?
All right, I'm going 76ers Warriors. The best center in the league, Joel Embiid, who just won the scoring title, will win Finals MVP. 76ers in 6.
All right.
Put me on bad takes. I don't care.
Well, we'll see you there. You'll hear more from us next week, I'm sure, about the NBA playoffs. Don't you worry. When we come back, we're going to shift in energy a little bit to talk about something that happened this past weekend. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the HTF Hot Wings Challenge. One of you guys actually do hot sauce like regularly?
No.
No.
It's like the least black thing I do.
Oh, wow, okay.
I say Johnny goes first on this one.
I agree.
Now the Buccaneers are going to play the Washington football team.
That can't happen.
It will happen.
I'm terrified.
No, I really hate it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. You're wrong. If it wasn't for Kanye jumping up on stage and doing that, I'm gonna let you finish, but no one would know Taylor Swift.
Nitros, dump truck. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
Why is Nitro thick?
I don't know how many squats I need to do to get up like something like that, but I will do it.
Oh! Oh my God!
Baseball, obvious reasons. Babe Ruth, if you want to go currently. I feel like that's just like a thing.
he jumped off the wall to catch the home run. We made it through all the way to the end. Thank you for joining us.
I'm never doing this again.
I usually enjoy thinking of fun topics to rant about for our last segment of the show, but this week I felt like I wanted to take it to a serious note. Dwayne Haskins tragically died this weekend in South Florida at the age of only 24. And after a few big names in the football world were incredibly insensitive about this tragedy, I wanted to take the time and use this platform to talk to you about Dwayne Haskins, the person. Haskins was born in New Jersey, but moved to Maryland when he started the 9th grade. He grew up a fan of the New York Giants. Haskins' friends called him Simba after his mom first gave him the fond nickname when he was a little kid. It started as just an endearing name, but the protagonist mentality of the Lion King ended up being the inspiration for his personal clothing brand called Kingdom of Pride. On the brand's website, there's a quote from Haskins about how he believed the grace of God blessed him with his platform and that he wanted to use it to encourage others to have pride in themselves, their inner lion, and their family. Teammates describe Haskins as a selfless man who always had a smile on his face and was always happy to be at work. Haskins was a son to Tamara Haskins and Dwayne Haskins Sr. He was a brother to Tamia Haskins and Hassan Haskins, and he was a husband to Calabria Gondrezic Haskins. And just like the song from The Lion King says, he lives in each one of them and watches over them now. That's our show for this week. We'll see you for our last show of the semester next week. From Alex Funderburk, myself, and all of us here at HTFN, have a great week. Peace.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make it highlight,